Once again, Mudfossil University looking at Chaco Canyon and its related other structures out there, which there is a whole batch of these, not just one of these. And they're all in this little shape and all these odd looking little, rooms and so forth in there. And it's sort of a puzzle. Why would they build them like this? So I'm watching, it's all kind of archaeoastrology, and they pointed it this way and pointed it that way. And I mean, they had a just unbelievable amount of ideas about how this was aligned and why they built this in these shapes. So I look at mud fossils and these things with mud fossil eyes, and I see this entirely different. So here's how I see it. I see this. I find it's highly likely that that was a tendon enthesis ball, and they come with these built-in little cavities that are obviously round, and then they have all these little squarish looking structures inside. Now, they have all kinds of different patterns in them, and I believe the patterns change depending upon which type of an enthesis it is. There's bone ones, and there's tendon ones, there's muscle ones, there's actually ones that are in the skin. And they are gigantic, so don't tell me, it couldn't be that big. Yes, it can be absolutely that big. Now, these are tendon balls here, you see, and they don't just come in singles, they come in vast quantities. That's a smaller one, obviously, but it's not that far off. All right, this is a tendon mat. It's a tendon mat in a creature, and I believe it's in a human, and these are the fibers that come down, and they attach to these balls through a little hole through this mat. It's called a Chinese finger trap. It goes through. The ball right there is the balls that we're talking about, and they implant in tissues. This one's ripped out. That's how they secure these mats so that you can pull against them, your bones and your muscles and your stomach and your torso, and everything is pulled against one of those enthesis points. Well, a lot of them, because they come in clusters. I'll show you how they are built in anatomical. All right, they use the same type of balls. However, the way they are constructed, that waffly looking shape, and other ones have holes inside of them. They're built differently for different places, and you have ligaments, you have tendons, and then you have other places where it's called interstitium, where these balls attach and hold your skin so that it's gluey and it comes back together. You're loaded with these balls, and they are all over the earth and other places. See that's Chaco Canyon type architecture. Now, I looked at all of the structures around here, and it is just a gigantic creature that was here, and they worked on the anatomy. And I can guarantee you that they found where the arterial passageways were, and that's where they're getting their water from, because arteries blow out, and the arteries go way down in the ground. And when you know what you're doing, you can find them. You have to look for the arterial passageways. They think the water just comes from nowhere. No, it doesn't. It comes from arteries. This appears to be, I think I got this from Lee Simpson too, and appears to be from Chinchero area somewhere, I guess, believe in Mexico, something like that. But it's another one of these stone balls, and they look at it and say, look at, they're carved all that stuff. Well, not necessarily. They come built like this. Now, this would give you an excellent support to build your walls on top of, because you have a solid foundation, and they use those circular curving walls to create their foundations. That's what they did. I suppose I should leave it at this. This is a mud fossil. Now, I showed you tendon enthesis and tendon ligament and all those different types of tendon. Let me show you what it looks like, what we're looking at there. Remember what you're seeing there. Let me get this over here in the light where you can see this. You see that? You see that hole right there? Oops. Hold on. Oops. Right there. Hold on. I'm sorry. Take it easy. I'm getting there. You see all those little holes inside that? That's a ligament. That holds a bone to the other bone. There's another ball just like that in a bone that faces it. and it snugs them together, and that's how they can jiggle around and still hold tight together. And there's all those little tiny entices, and I think that's a lot of what they did out in Chaco Canyon. So, and then I just want you to also know you never find the bones, so don't tell me there's no bones. Where are the bones? Well, the bones are here, but that's all that's left of them. I don't even know if you can see that. That is all that's left of the bone. It turns into what they call source rock. It transitions into petrochemicals and all that business. But it is originally a complete bone, and it has all of its fascia and all of the things that would be. See this triangular looking fabric that's on there? All right. The ancients used to call that tunica. It wraps these bones, and you know why it wraps these bones? It keeps them away from the salt that is in your body. This bone was protected in mud, deep mud, and encapsulated so that the bone itself transitioned because the salt invaded it. It didn't disintegrate, it transitioned. Now, in salt water, the bone goes into solution. This was encapsulated, transitioned with the salt destroying it. The flesh that was around it turned into red clay muds. It's just what happens. And the tendons that attach, the white part of tendons, turned into little limestone bits. All right, so believe or don't believe, the evidence is up there. I have DNA certification on 3 samples that I did. One is a giant over 200 feet tall. The things that I have shown are unimpeachable, and they're not being challenged because they can't be challenged. So come up to Mudfossil University. Make sure that you tell other people that this is where you're going to find the truth about geology, everything. I mean, because everything's wrong. It's all been started out with wrong foundations. So I'm going back to the foundations. I said I found the foundations of everything literally are based on somebody's assumption and misinterpretation of what they looked at. So we do a research, a re-examination. That's what we're doing now. Mudfossil University is a place that is done. I don't see that being done anywhere else. If you find someplace else that's doing it, I'd like to know. But I am always told, oh, we want to find out this, we want to find out that. They're going to laugh at this and say, don't ever talk about this again. That's the attitude I get from everybody in the educational system. It's not right in my mind, but I can't say much about it because I don't have any dog in that race. So whatever happens there happens outside of my realm. I am in the realm of reality.